the House rejecting it in a 219 to 212 vote.
This follows yesterday's Senate vote, which also struck down that war powers resolution in a 53 to 47 vote. Both were meant to hamstring the president in his ability to fight this critical fight. Let's welcome in House Majority Whip and Congressman from the fine state of Minnesota, Tom Emmer. Congressman, Majority Whip, great to see you. What do you make of the vote on the war powers today? Because, again, everybody was on board except for Massey and Davidson when it came to Republicans.
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is it was largely a partisan exercise, Deegan, with the exception that 4 Democrats voted with the Republicans. When it comes to Thomas and Warren, Warren's got a specific issue that he was trying to work out with the White House. He wants to know how long, details. I mean, he's a former Army Ranger. I'll cut him a little slack on that. And obviously, Thomas and the president have their differences already. Thomas has always been on record as being opposed to this sort of thing. So it wasn't a surprise, but we knew that it was going to go down today.
I want to ask you about this as well, Congressman. President Trump expected to ask Congress for a supplemental emergency funding request for the strikes on Iran. There have been reports that the proposal could total around $50 billion, aimed at boosting military operations and readiness. House Speaker Mike Johnson telling reporters today they will move on a funding package, quote, when appropriate. Could you shed some light on that issue, the total maybe that you're hearing, and maybe also talk a little bit about, look, here's my concern. There are some members of Congress who I think are not engaging the Iran issue in good faith. And if they get involved on the money question here, it could really mess things up for the prosecution of what we're doing in Iraq. Are you worried about that?
Well, as the whip, Brian, my job is to make sure this stuff gets done. So as soon as there is a supplemental, and we know what it is, and the speaker makes that call, which I think it'll be, if in fact we're presented with that, I'm sure he's going to move it in a very expedient manner. And when that happens, Brian, our job is to make sure that we deal with those issues beforehand. Because now more than ever, we got to support our men and women in uniform and their families. This is not a time to side with terrorists. This is a time to side with our American interests. And the president made it clear, this is a very narrow, focused mission that is specifically to knock out any ability of the chief sponsor of terrorism in the world and probably one of the U.S.'s worst enemies. I think Iran has killed more Americans than any other terrorist organization in the world over the past few decades. So the president is taking the action that he is empowered to do. Our job is to make sure that our military has the resources that they need to perform the function that they've been asked to perform.
I'll just note the president's budget for the next fiscal year included a $500 billion increase in defense spending over the current $900 billion. And so $50 billion would only be, 10% of that. So that's not a heavy ask for the men and women who are literally fighting the fight as we speak. But I want to move on to this, Majority Whip. As it happened in the House today, voting just wrapped up on the DHS funding bill, passing 221 to 209. And also breaking earlier today, President Trump has officially fired Kristi Noem as the Secretary of Homeland Security. A lot of reasons. I won't go into all of them, but a $200+ million ad campaign featuring her and what she said in front of the Senate committee about the president knew, no he didn't, and the president apparently was mad as a murder hornet, according to Senator John Kennedy. Well, her replacement is Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin. You did serve with both of Noem and Mullin in the House. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, Deegan, you're not wrong. No, both are great people.
Well, keep talking, because I want to hear what you think. No,
well,
don't
first off,
stop.
First off, Deegan, nobody got fired. Kristi Noem did a fantastic job in being involved sealing our southern border, which was wide open under the previous administration. She did a very good job. And what the president has done is reassign Kristi, and Mark Wayne Mullen is going to take over the DHS spot, and she'll go do her new duties. I think both are incredibly capable, and I think Mark Wayne Mullen is going to be very successful at this job.
I know Dagan wants to ask a little bit about the firing piece. I guess I do too, a little pressy on that. It does seem like she kind of lost her job involuntarily, which some of us would call firing. You don't have to engage on that if you don't want to. One thing I am interested in, though, I guess more on the policy side of it then, is DHS is not, certain aspects of DHS are not funded right now. You got a new head of DHS coming in. Is that going to move that along a little bit? Is the arrival of Mark Wayne Mullen going to be a opportunity for Democrats to, you know, fund the thing that kind of helps keep us safe when we're at war? I don't know.
Brian, I don't think you even have to get into that. Whoever's leading the Department of Homeland Security, this is a terrible look for Democrats in Washington, D.C., who have literally shut down the Department of Homeland Security, the department that protects Americans here at home. You're right. They claim it's about immigration and customs enforcement, but that's funded through 2029. That was funded in the big, beautiful bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, that was signed into law on July 4th. This is about cutting off resources to the Coast Guard, TSA, to the Customs and Border Patrol. This is about cutting off disaster relief. It's outrageous that they think this tactic will work. Bottom line is, Democrats got to get back to being Americans, which is they put the American people before their political interests. This is not about politics. This is about what is right and wrong, and they need to get to the table and pass this thing in the Senate.
Majority Whip Tom Emmer, so not fired, given the boot out of the Department of Homeland Security. Sorry.
We got a lot of synonyms here.
I'm a needler, and I could needle you, but I won't because I want you to come back because you're the best, sir.
I'll come back. You can needle all you want. You can needle all you want.
No,
all right.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Whip Emmer. We appreciate it.